Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aditya Arifianto. So now I'm going to talk about this paper, a smart adversarial attack on deep hashing-based image retrieval. So before we start, apologize if I speak too fast because there's a lot of things that I want to point out from this paper. But then I realized that only 20 minutes. And yeah, so I hope by the end of this, if we still have a bit of time, maybe I can share some of my opinions. Yeah, okay. So first, to start things off, so this the abstract summary. It is a study of adversarial attack problem in deep hashing-based retrieval model. Why they propose this? Because the current effectiveness of the model, it has high perturbation costs, but it has low AP reduction. So they aim to improve the effectiveness by designing a dimension-wise surrogate Hamming distance function and also collectively incorporate relevant images. And then the result, they said that it outperforms the state-of-the-art models in perturbation costs. And also, this paper received the Best Paper Award of ICMR 2021. So first, let's talk about the deep hashing-based image retrieval. So as far as I know, this went back since the days of the AlexNet. Back then, it is already known that deep neural networks or convolutional neural network can be used as a feature extraction, and then the extracted feature can be used for image retrieval tasks simply by using nearest neighbor. So back then, this is called the FC7 feature because the AlexNet has 8 layers, and then we can get whatever the output feature from the 7th layer. So for example, if we have all this image, we feed into the AlexNet, we store all of these FC7 feature, and then if we have a new image, we also feed into the AlexNet, we get this FC7 feature, we can just use nearest neighbor to do image retrieval, and this works pretty well. But then we already know that nearest neighbor is slow, so we want to not use this. We better use an approximation technique. One of the most popular approximation technique for nearest neighbor is locality sensitive hashing because it has similar input item into the same bucket with high probability. So this is then we use this. The problem if we want to use the LSH is that the hashing bucket needs to be discretized, but then the extracted feature is continuous, so we need to do a discretize or binarize the feature. And also the plus value in here that we can change the distance function from nearest neighbor from just L1 or L2 distance into Hamming distance. So this is the way that back then we use image retrieval using deep neural network. And then the improvement is that why we even use manual discretization for the feature. We can just use the model to perform all of this automatically. So the deep supervised hashing, basically we take a pre-trained model and then we add a new layer here to do the binarization to reduce the dimension, and then also we put tanh nonlinearity in here so that it can perform the binarization. So we can just train this to train this specific layer to perform binarization, and then the plus value also that the network may find a better form to binarize or hash the image. And then after we get this hashing, then we can just use Hamming distance to perform image retrieval. So this is the basic default way of deep supervised hashing. And then the next is about adversarial examples. So adversarial perturbation is a change to a physical object that is deliberately designed to fool a machine learning system into mistaking it for something else. And then the result for this adversarial perturbation is called adversarial example. So this is the example of a physical perturbation to get the adversarial example. And if we talk about the adversarial examples inside the image itself is an input. So adversarial examples in image is that input has been deliberately modified in a way that it is imperceptible to human. So human cannot recognize or cannot differentiate the difference, but it is misclassified by a machine learning system, whereas the original input was correctly classified, right? So this is like the example, we have this image of panda that is classified as panda by machine learning. We add this noise, just a little bit of noise into the image, into this new image that for us human we cannot tell the difference, But for machine learning, it is now classified as a given with 99% confidence. So this is adversarial examples. Generating adversarial examples is really easy. We take a pre-trained classification model, and then we can just add an image that we want to make a new adversarial example. We fit an image, we forward propagate to get the class score, and then we hack the gradient. For this, we choose a wrong class that is not cat for this example. We hack the gradient, and then we feed this gradient back propagate into the network to get the gradient input, and then we add the scale down gradient to the input. So let's say we multiply this gradient with 0.001, and then we add to the image, and then we just iterate this until it converges. It means that the class is no longer cat. So this is the way that you make adversarial examples. It's very easy. That's why with the same principle, we can just make adversarial attack for deep hashing, because basically it's the same. We feed a new image, we get the binary, we calculate the loss, make the binary as far away as possible with the original binary, and then we backprop into the model, we add the noise so that at the end, if this image is fed into this model, we get the wrong result. This is the adversarial attack for deep hashing. So the drawbacks or the challenge with the adversarial attack in deep hashing is that vanishing gradient problem. It is difficult to converge since the output is 0101, not value anymore. And then it has a high perturbation cost, which means that the difference or changes in the image is now noticeable by human. And also the model efficiency is that it means that how far we can shift the class score, how far we can make the image wrong. This is the model efficiency. So to address this problem, this paper proposed this smart adversarial attack. The problem addressed that they said that the existing technique doesn't consider the difference contribution of the different dimension of the feature, so they blindly reward Hamming distance loss with the same gradient for all the hashing dimension. And then it's also not ranking sensitive. So while the retrieval result is ranking sensitive, for example here, they show that for this query x1, if the result of the retrieved image is true, false, 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 then the AP is 1. But the second query, if the result is false, 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 true, true, then the AP is 0.3. The state of the art or the current adversarial attack, these two have the same loss. So that's why they said that these shouldn't have the same loss because the AP is different. And then the third problem they address is that the existing method only consider the query itself while forgetting its relevant image. So for example in here, if this is the original image and we want to make it wrong, so this is the original gradient that we want to make it correct. So we just, the adversarial examples, basically we want to shift this image into other direction other than the correct one, right? But then if we take a look at the relevant image, so maybe the adversarial examples can go to this direction or go to this direction since this is the majority, right? So maybe the result will be in here, but then there are still correct results from this position. So they talk that, so maybe we want to shift this image into an area that there is no relevant point. So they want to guide the gradient to shift into a region that has no correct relevant images. So that is the idea. The way they do by introducing this new objective function. So this is the old objective function. The objective is to create an image q tilde. This is the new image, the adversarial image, that is as close as possible to the original image, which means that it shouldn't be too much of difference. So the image should be as similar as possible to the original, but then the AP or the precision of the image retrieve is as low as possible. So this is the old objective function. The new objective function still that the image should be as similar as possible, but they move this AP function into the minimization part with the new surrogate objective function. So this is the new thing that they invent. So this attack they can do this into untargeted attack or targeted attack. So untargeted attack means that we want just the image become wrong, and the targeted image we want to change the class of an image into another class that we want specifically wants. So this is the new function of the new objective function F untargeted and F targeted. Is that they want to average the distance between this Q query with the relevant image as far as possible, and then with the targeted attack they want this query, this adversarial image, to be as close as possible to the targeted image. So the difference here is this negative. So from this adversarial and the relevant image, they want it to be as far as possible. And then for the query adversarial image into the targeted image, they want to be as close as possible. So this is the basic function is the same, just the difference is just this negative. And then they also add this AP oriented weighted function. This is when they address that different dimension should have different weighting to consider for the loss. So that's why they add this weighting function for the dimension. And so the distance function itself is defined as this. It's quite long. So this is the distance function for the untargeted attack. This is the distance function for the targeted attack. And yeah, that's all for the improvement actually. The experiments itself, they do with the CIFAR-10. So from 60,000 images, they take 5,000 images as training, 1,000 images as testing, and the rest is database. MS COCO, 82 plus 40K images, 10,000 as training, 5,000 as testing, the rest as database, and then NUS wide dataset. They filter the image into 165,000, 10,000 as the training, 5,000 as testing, and the rest as database. And also they take 100 queries from each testing as the query workload for both untargeted and targeted attacks. And also they use optimization with 2,000 iteration to generate the adversarial examples. They use 2,000 iterations. And for the evaluation, they compare. This is their model SDHA and the SDHA UW in here. This is the unweighted version of this smart attack. They compare with this HAG, which is the state of the art for this untargeted attack, and also the HTA, which is the state of the art for the targeted attack. The metric is they use mean average precision at 1,000 retrieval with threshold for the convergence criteria, and the metrics that they report is the L2 distance to calculate the image perturbation cost. So L2 distance, which means that from the original query with the adversarial query, what is the L2 distance? What is the difference between these two images? And yes, that's all. The result is for the untargeted attack, SDHA, their method reduced the perturbation cost by 27% compared to the SDHA UW, and they reduced 34% compared to the state of the art on average. The SDHA without weight also consistently perform better than this state of the art HAG. And then they even mentioned that one HAG does not achieve MAP below 1.1, which is the criteria that this model can go into the next step. And then the targeted attack, the SDHA reduced perturbation cost by 55% compared to the HTA on average. Also, the unweighted version reduced the perturbation cost by 49% compared to the HTA. And similar to the untargeted attack, the HTA does not always achieve the preset MAP, which means that it doesn't achieve the best performance with only 2000 iteration. So they need more iteration compared to the SDHA. With 2000 iteration, they can get the minimum MAP that is required. And this is the result. So they show that this is the original image without the adversarial example. If they fit into the image retrieval, they get correct image retrieved. And then when they put into their model as the untargeted adversarial attack, they get all wrong images. So the attack succeeds for these 3 examples. And then the last one is the targeted adversarial attack. So they purposely change the class of this struct image into both. This DEX into human, and then this human into scenery. And the result is this circle indicates that they get the correct wrong answer. How do I say this? Yes, the correct both class. And then they show, since the metric in here is the difference between the original image and the result adversarial, so they show that this is the difference between original image and SDHA, and this is the difference between the original and the current state of the art. We can see that the difference, this is the difference between these 2 images, is higher than their SDHA. This also, they have a high difference in this area. They also show for MS COCO, and then also for the NUS White. So from here, the L2 distance between these 2 images is smaller than these 2 images. And yeah, that's all for this paper. So the conclusion here that they successfully create an attack retrieval model with less image perturbation, and then they introduce this dimension-wise surrogate Hamming distance function that can deal with both untargeted and targeted attack. And then they show that they generate better adversarial image with smaller image perturbation compared to the state-of-the-art methods. The first comment in here that they have no ablation study. So there are many results that I wish they have ablation study to investigate more deeply in why the result is better. So they did not do this. They just show that, okay, this is better, the L2 distance is smaller, then that's it. I wish they have more to tease out what happened behind the function that make the new objective function works. And yeah, that's all for this paper. But before we go to question and answering, right, this is more comment, maybe even a discussion we can discuss later. The first point that I want to make this about this CIFAR dataset. So they said that we follow the GH. So this is another paper that they said that we randomly select 5,000 images as training, 1,000 images as testing, the rest as database. So I tried to read this paper. They said like this: we follow protocol in 36 and 3. They randomly select 100 images per class as query, 500 images per class as training, at the rest of the image used as database. I follow this, and then I trace back into around 2015 or 2016, and this is the same. So my problem with this is that it is already known that CIFAR 10 dataset has many near duplicate images. So by combining the training and the validation and then selecting images from this for image retrieval, I think it is rather unfair. It's fine for image classification, right? Because eventually we do augmentation, but for image retrieval, for example, this is the actual images that is inside the CIFAR 10. For example, if we use this as query, so of course the AP will be good because these images contains in the database. So I don't know, in my mind, that maybe they should clarify or about the sampling mechanism, because this problem exists on CIFAR 10, or maybe they can use for future research, maybe they should use the latest CIFAR 10, which is CIFAR 10.1, where they remove all of these near duplicate images. So this is my comment. And then the second is that the purpose of this attack. So in topic of image retrieval, I try to understand or think what is the purpose of adversarial attack in image retrieval, because image retrieval basically is for browsing and searching, right? It's like a Google image search, image retrieval. So I try to think what is the purpose of the attack, why we need to make an adversarial images for image retrieval. So the first thing that comes to my mind is that we want to mess the database. We want to attack someone with that have image retrieval, right? So for example, we flood the database with adversarial images so that other user will get the wrong result, right? Other than this, what I can think is that maybe we want to hide private images that we want to upload into their database. So maybe we purposely add perturbation into our own image so that this image cannot be searched by other people using some query image retrieval. And then the third one is for biometric spoofing, but then this is image retrieval. So in my mind, how we use image retrieval is that we have image and then we upload into the system, right? So the system will get the result of similar image for image retrieval. So biometric, I don't think biometric works like this, right? We don't upload image for biometric. So this purpose is really not. Maybe the closest thing is that so that like hide private image, right? We can make our image in the dataset is wrongly tagged by the system. So apart from these three purpose, I cannot think realistically what is the purpose of making adversarial attack into image retrieval system. And then the second is about the practical attack of this adversarial attack on image retrieval. The first one is that adversarial attack is a white box testing, right? So we can do this with the preconception of we have access to the model, because like I said earlier, we need the model to perform forward and backward propagation. So without access to the model, we cannot do image generation or creating adversarial examples. And more so for this image retrieval, we need the true label. For this particular paper, we need the true label of all images in the database. So we cannot do that without the model and the database to practically, realistically perform this attack into a real world. This is the first problem. The second problem is that if we have no access to the model, then we only get the assumption that this vulnerability is inherited, right? So maybe they use the model that is trained from some kind of original model, right? So we have the assumption that a vulnerability of adversarial attack on this original will be transferred into the model that the system that we want to attack is used. So we can create our own model. We create a new image from our own model, and then we just hope that it can be used to attack the model because the vulnerability is inherited, right? So this is the assumption, or that the assumption that the dataset is also inherited, because if this model is trained into some kind of data X database or dataset images, so if we trained a new model from this dataset, we can create a model that will be able to generate adversarial examples for this model. So this is the assumption for this practical attack. And then the third one is that it needs the assumption that there is no post-processing to the hashing. So it means that if the model, if we want to attack, has some kind of post-processing to the hashing, then we cannot this practical attack. I don't think that we can do that. But then it's not to undermine the research. I think the purpose of the research is still valid, right? Because the purpose of the research is to recognize that the problem exists, yes, and so that we can anticipate the upcoming incident, and also maybe to improve the system accordingly, right? To find the solution based on the hypothesis. And then it's still a valid attack for the scenario of physical adversarial examples, which means that if we can make the image and then we print it out and slap into a real world, so it can attack a classification, detection, and identification, for example, for robots or self-driving cars, which we can see that there are already result for this physical adversarial examples. And yes, that's all for my take for this paper. One weird idea, if I may, for this image retrieval technique is that my idea in here is that if we can make image that can retrieve wrong image, so can we make an adversarial image that will almost always appear in top end result of retrieval from several completely different query. I want to say no matter what the query is, but it is impossible. So from several completely different queries. So for example here, in my mind, can we make like full a shopping recommendation image retrieval? So if I have an image of a t-shirt and then I float this image t-shirt into the database of this shopping recommendation, so when other user maybe upload a trouser, want to retrieve image of trouser, my image will appear. And then maybe another user upload, I don't know, maybe a hat, and then my image also appear. I don't know. This is just an idea, a weird idea that I had when I read this paper. Okay. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.